Now that could actually be a decent little pickup to sell on, you know. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the free trade-in game collection challenge, this series where I will take things into CEX, get some credit, and then buy some games and say they're free. But of course they are, because what I didn't mention was that we will sell a part of the deal that I originally picked up to pay for everything. So what we take into CEX is essentially free. So when we get our credit, we can get the games we actually want, and they've cost us absolutely nothing. It is not the most optimum way to make or create or build a collection. It absolutely isn't, but it suits the way that I want to do it, so that's why we do it. If you want to try and emulate, is that the right word? Copy? Follow? Do your own version of? Emulate sounds right? I don't know. If you want to do what I'm doing, essentially, obviously if there's a game you see online and it's a couple of quid and you want to pick it up, just buy it. There's no need to be like, well, I want to get that through trade. I won't do that, because that's what I've been doing so far. In the last episode, though, we changed the rules again, but for the final time, because the rule change now means that there aren't any rules, because who needs rules in their life, right? I don't. So rather than forcing myself to only pick up games through CEX, now we can pick up games wherever and whenever and however we want, so long as they are paying for themselves. So if I pick up a PlayStation 4 console with a couple of games and I want to keep 2 of the games, I sell the console to pay for everything, and then we can keep the games, whereas we couldn't do that before. That was the major rule change. In this episode, there isn't going to be a lot going on, to be honest. I only make 2 pickups, and there is nothing to buy, because we already own what we're about to trade in. So, not the last episode, but the episode before, I showed you Wii Sports, Batman on the PS4, and I think an Assassin's Creed. It might have been Black Flag, I think. They trade in for roughly 20. In fact, they did trade in for 20 today. Went into CEX, took those in, had a little look around the collection and everything before I went in, and thought, right, well, what else can I take in? £20 is nothing when you've already bought a lot of the filler. So, had a little look around, couldn't find anything, and decided, well, £20 is better than nothing. So I went in there with 20, had a little look around. I was in there for quite a while, actually, because I could not decide what I wanted. There were quite a few games that I was sort of deliberating. I wanted to pick up more than one originally, and I was looking round, and everything that I wanted was in and around the £20 mark. The first major consideration was Republic of Riders, I think it's called, on the PS5. We only have one PS5 game in the entire collection, and it's Mortal Kombat. And I played it, and I completed the main story. I was doing a little bit of the, was it Crypt, I think it's called, stuff. You could literally spend your life on that, and I don't think you'd ever finish it. But I would like to build up a PS5 collection at some point. But not only do I just want to see the PS5 collection grow, I actually want to play these games. So I'm looking at Republic of Riders, £22. We only had 20. It's kind of out of the reach. I could have stretched to 2. I know I could have. I could have just paid the 2 and fobbed it off somewhere else, but I decided against it. The other game I want to pick up is Hitman, but that's 25. And again, it's PS5. It probably will come down in price before it goes back up again. And I'm not massively desperate to play it. And then I started looking at some others. This one was a game that I looked at to sell on, actually. It wasn't going to... I mean, it might have been part of the challenge, but it's a steelbook, and CEX don't really do anything with steelbooks. They take them in for the exact same price. So I whip my phone out, as you do, and I go on to eBay, and I'm like, right, let me have a little look to see how much this sells for, because it's £25, it's a PS5 game, so that's not a bad price anyway. If I can get 40 to 50 for a steelbook, then I will. I couldn't find anything about it. There was a US steelbook, but yeah, absolutely nothing about it. I left it behind, but I'm going to do a little bit more research, and I may go back. Mad Games Tycoon was originally £30 plus in CEX. It's come down a lot. It came down to like 28, then at 25, then 22, and now it's £20 on the nose. I was tempted. I love, I can't remember. I love it, and I can't remember the name of it. Is it like just Games Tycoon? What was it called? Video Game Tycoon? I can't even remember what it's called. Game Developer Tycoon? Whatever it's called. I love that game, even though I can't remember the name of it for some reason. But Mad Games Tycoon is essentially the same thing, just made by a different company. Decided against it. What did I pick up? Well, it wasn't a Wii U game. I had a look through them. They do have a couple more in there now. And the only one I really want is that Mario Color Splash that we saw a couple of weeks ago. The other games, I mean, like, I want to pick up the Star Fox and things, and I will play them. To be fair, I do play the Wii U a fair bit, like 10-20 minutes here or there. I'll just pick up the gamepad while I'm waiting for something, or waiting for 6 PM content on FIFA, for example, and it's like 5:30, so I'll pick up the gamepad and just play some Mario Kart or whatever it may be for half an hour. And it's the same with the Switch, although I do need some Switch games I can just pick up and play like that. And in this episode we will pick one up. But the PS4 game that I picked up, because that's what it was in CEX, was this. I don't know the name of it. Mad Runner American Wilds. I didn't buy it for the sake of just buying something. I did actually contemplate very, very briefly. I walked out of the shop actually, and I went to another shop to get something that I needed, and then I came back and had a little bit of a fresh look. It was quite crowded in there, so I thought I'll just let people go in and do their thing, and then I'll come back in and look after. And it was much quieter, and I managed to find this. I've seen some trailers of this. Haven't really seen much in the way of gameplay, but trailer-wise, this looks interesting. There are, I think, 30 plus powerful all-terrain vehicles, and you have to get, from what it looks like, from point A to point B, but it's obviously not a straight road. You're cross-country, so it's going to be very difficult. You have to navigate your way through this sandbox, essentially. It looks interesting, and it looks like a game you can pick up and do a little bit, turn it off, come back to it, and that kind of thing. That's what I like about this. That's what and it looks good. The graphics look nice. I don't know what year this was made. 2018, maybe? But yeah, it does look really nice. That isn't a reprinted cover, is it? I hate it when they do that. No, it isn't. I'm very wary of it. They've started putting this is a copy or reprinted cover in the top. They had it a lot on the Wii U games, which I wasn't too happy about. But that's the pickup. £20 on that one. That, I think, probably will hold its value. Now, I'm not like 100% hell-bent on making sure that the games I pick up will be games that hold value. Because at the end of the day, if I want to play it, I want to play it. And this kind of looked like one of the games that I would like to play. So that's why I picked it up. But I would like to keep in the back of my mind that this collection isn't just for now, it's for the future. So with things like Mega Drive and some of the older consoles, like the N64s and things that I will eventually get to and start picking up, I want to, I almost want it as a preservation kind of thing, you know, like those type of games aren't going to be around forever. Now, I'm going to pick Sonic, for example. Sonic on the Mega Drive is a game that will obviously be around far longer than you and I are around for, right? Because it's been remade and remade on different platforms to death, and there's emulators and all sorts, but the original cartridge on the Mega Drive will not be around forever. They have a shelf life. No one knows what that shelf life is yet, but you know, as time goes on, that shelf life is reducing, and it's coming a lot closer. So it's something that I want to keep, because there's going to come a time where, not necessarily Sonic, but you know, as an example, there's going to come a time where Mega Drive games are unbelievably rare. Now, they're quite rare at the moment, and the same with N64 and NES and SNES and whatever it may be. They are rare, but they are going to get even rarer and rarer and rarer as time goes on. And it's going to be the same for Xbox 360 and PS3 games eventually. But for right now, that's the kind of thing I want to do. Like, they're not really to play necessarily. I will pick them up every now and again, but they are preservation. These games are to play. So I'm not too concerned about it being £20 so long as it's fun to play. So that was the PS4 game. That was the CEX pickup. There was another pickup for today's episode before I end it. Not a particularly long one. I do appreciate it, and I'm sorry about that, but the weekend is going to make up for it. I wanted to get this out of the way because I didn't want it to be part of the weekend. I've got like cat hair like all over my face. So, this is the pickup from Vinted. This was an absolute steal. I am so happy, and I've been playing it, and it is banging. So, Switch game, Streets of Rage 4. This is a game. Now, it's not in there because I only bought the case. No, I'm joking. It's not in there because it's in the Switch. As soon as I got it, ripped it open, as you can see, just had to. and it went straight in the Switch, and I've been playing it, and I'm quite nearly finished it, I won't lie to you. But it's just one of those, like, Streets of Rage 1 and 2 are some of the best games ever made, and I will not have anyone tell me any different. For me personally, they are two of, Streets of Rage 2 probably more than the other one, one of the best games ever. It is so good. And this is different art style, which I don't mind because obviously it's very pixelated in the original, but the sound effects in this, the music in this, it is so close to the original. Like, the sound effects themselves are the original ones, essentially. They've just been a little bit remastered. But the music, they don't use the same music, obviously. It's a different game. But it's so close. And it still hits you in those sort of nostalgia feels, if you will. This was so cheap as well. I can't remember the price of it. It might have been like £6, £7, £8 at most, and that's including postage. This is a £25 game in CEX. Had to buy it. How are we going to pay for this, though? That's a very good question. Last week, and I'm going to draw on last week because I have nothing. That's it. I don't have anything else. So I'm drawing on last week. So I'm going to interject here to cut a very long story short and end the video for you because it just didn't make sense the way I did it originally. Last week, we spent £57. We bought 2 copies of Rock Band 4 on the PS4. We bought a Guitar Hero Live with the dongle from CEX for £8. We also bought Wii U guitar, I think. I also included the Guitar Hero Live that we got the week before in the boot sale. That was a tenner with the game and the dongle, and a PlayStation Move controller. We also added a copy of Rock Band 4 and Mad Max Steelbook, which is right there, to the collection. And all of it cost £57 in total. We stood to make 134. Last week I said 110, it's actually 134. Now that's not profit, even though I said it was. My wording was wrong. It wasn't profit, which means if we deduct last week's expenditure, if you will, to the amount of money that we will make from that, it leaves us with £77 profit, which works out almost perfectly because it means that we're going to be left with just shy of £70 profit if we take away the amount that Streets of Rage 4 cost us on the Switch from this week. This is why I don't like doing it, because I don't like taking figures from one episode and putting them into another episode. I like it all to be contained in itself. So everything that we do in this video is just this video. That's what I like to do, and that's what Saturday's video is going to be about. But yeah, we're essentially borrowing £7.55 from last week, which gives us like £69.45 cash profit from last week. We've bought Streets of Rage 4. Everyone's happy. No one more so than myself, because now I get to play Streets of Rage. Happy days. Now, I have some updated figures for you. Total collection value is at £852. I've allocated £20 for Streets of Rage 4, because that's roughly the eBay price. It's £5 less than CEX. Mud Runner, I've given £20 to, because that's how much we picked it up for. If we buy it from CEX, that's the value of it. If we don't buy it from CEX, I'm going to go on eBay prices. It just makes sense. Because if I add £7.55 to it, it doesn't give you a true representation of how much this collection is actually worth. So that makes sense to me in my head, and it makes it look better, obviously. So the total cash profit, I've changed the way I'm doing this because it was just confusing myself, really. And I'm going to have to redo it and re-go through it because there are some things that I still have that I haven't added to that total cash profit because I'm waiting for them to sell. So that's the way I was doing it. I was waiting for things to sell before I add it to the cash profit. Now I'm just going to give it a projected figure, and I'm going to be very conservative and drop it underneath what I think it'll actually sell for by a couple of pounds. And then when it does sell, I might adjust it up or down as needed. But I'm just going to put all the projected and predicted cash profit of the things that we own that we're looking to actively sell into that value. So it's gone up by £69, whereas I wouldn't have put it up by anything this week. But I'm just going to do that from now on. So if I buy something for 100 and I'm looking to sell it for 120, I'm just going to put the £20 profit on it. It's just the way I'm going to do it. It's just going to be easier to keep track of. And it's not going to be 100% accurate, but it'll be quite close representation of how much profit we've made. I'm not looking to really do anything with it. I just kind of like having it there to know, hey, we are actually in profit and we do have a collection worth XX amount. But that's going to do it for this episode. If I haven't said it already, watch Saturday. I'm going to go pick it up in about an hour, and I'm hoping it's going to be as good as the listing said it was, because if it is, then what a score. If you have enjoyed this episode of the free Trading Game Collection Challenge, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.
you.